Thank you. Hello everybody, my name is Craig Bennett, and today I am going to get into Google Drive, its features, how to best use it, and a few extra things. Now, as far as things goes, the reason why I'm doing this video is a previous video I've done that seems to be a bit more successful, and as time goes by, more and more people are hunting for it for whatever reason, which is on OneDrive, which is Microsoft's version of Google Drive. And Dropbox obviously has its own, and which is the head of the entire cloud services game. But I'll get into a video on that later on. In this one, I'm going to get into features and a few things that you should know, or at least what I feel that you should know. But if you want to check out that OneDrive video, then check it out. I should have a card coming out about this area, and it will take you to the OneDrive video. So as far as that goes, let's jump on in. Now, first things first is you're going to need a Google account, a Gmail account. It's pretty simple, pretty easy to open up. And what you're going to need is go to the Drive, go to that little box and go to Drive, or go to drive.google.com. Keep in mind there is a free version and a paid version on all of these. And I'm on a business account, so I got a little bit extra things I can show you on here versus a normal account. But it's real simple. It's like one or two extra things. So as far as this goes, OneDrive acts very similar to Google Drive and Dropbox. Google Drive, if we get into it, my Google Drive, my personal Google Drive, is right here, and basically any folder I make in here, any file I throw in here, will automatically go to the Google Drive. It's just like Dropbox, so it's very easy to use. And then anything I take out of Google Drive, say I delete from the web, and it'll try to delete from my personal end. So as far as that goes, it's so simple. I'm pretty much going to glance over that altogether. I mean, if you know how to make a folder and how to move a file and all that stuff, then you're good there. If you don't, this video might be a little bit too advanced for you if you don't even know how to do that. So let's get into the web interface itself. The web interface is very useful. What you have is, starting from the left side, you have the Google Drive logo, and if you click on that, that takes you to this home page. Then if you go down to the new, which I'll get a little bit more, you can make new things. I'll get more into that in a second. Below that, you have the My Drive folder, the home folder, the things shared with me, Google Photos, recent, starred, so favorite items, trashed items, storage, and on yours you should see something about download it to your desktop on the very bottom, and that's where you do yours. On the actual My Drive, let's make a new folder real quick, so it's very easy. And a folder looks like this. Thing to note is on the left side, still sticking with the left side, we have the folder showing up here. And if we really wanted to have like a natural case where you have a folder within inside of a folder, you can do that, and it will have a hierarchy where you can see the child-parent relationship right there, and it's very easy to use. So as far as that goes, let's get into the top area. Again, you can make new folders and all that other stuff there. I'll get more into this section here in a bit. On the very top, you can search within your actual Google Drive. Left, you have how you want to view your stuff, and sorting options, view details, and settings. And you can download the entire drive. You can look at the keyboard shortcuts, which I highly advise, and check out the help for anything else. Now, let's get into the folders moving files and folders is very simple. You can move them as such, so you can move it back and forth in either case. And deleting is fairly easy. You can change the color, the overall color of the folder. So as you see here, we can change that so we can better recognize it for something. Store it, same thing with the actual folders and whatnot, the files and whatnot. And we can rename it, move to get the actual link to share that folder. So if we want to share the folder itself and any contents within it, we can get the share link or share itself. Or if we want to share a particular item, a file, we can share that or get the share link. We can open with, so if we had more connected apps, which you can get by doing that. And going down, you can do a few details, rename, download the actual entire folder or file, and then remove. And see here, removing that removes everything just like it would on a computer. Now, as far as that goes, going into the new, so we can make a new folder, upload a file, upload an entire folder, go and make a new Google Doc, which is like a Microsoft Word document. So I'll get more into this in a second. Google Sheet, which is like Excel, Google Slide, which is PowerPoint, and more. And then you got Google Forms, Drawing, Maps, and again, you can do connected apps. So as far as that goes, let's go into the actual Google Doc by just double clicking that. And you might have to make your own, so it will look something like the following after it gets made. So it will look something like this, simple and bare. And the thing to note is right here next to the help, there is nothing. If you start typing, then it will automatically say save. And what will happen is automatically within your actual drive, it will actually have a save in there. It's very important to note that, because what happens here is, let's take a look at this where I played around with it a little. If we look at the last edited, we can click that, and then if we do show more detail, what happens is say for example you're working on a paper or you're doing something in general. Like say for example, if I am working on a paper, I'm sharing it with someone else so they can work on their end. They mess up, they hand it over to one of their family members, they get drunk and wreck half the paper. Well, instead of having to go line by line, spending hours and hours trying to fix their mistake and kick them off the thing altogether, it happens in workplaces and stuff, so don't act like it doesn't happen. But I can go to the revisions and check to see what happened at a revision, see who done the revision itself, and then I can do a check on the time and stuff. So if I wanted to, I can go down, say like right here, let's do it all the way back to nothing. So right here, I revised it all the way back, and I say, oh, I didn't really want to do that. So what I can do is go to this last revision and restore it from there and bring everything back. And it's pretty simple. And again, you can see who done what by the name and stuff like that, and what's highlighted and not. So right here, you can see what was done by whom and stuff like that. So as far as that goes, it's a pretty simple thing. And like if I go in here and give it a few seconds to save, which that's all it takes, you can see right here where I added that, and there you go. So as far as that goes, let's go back. The interesting thing is if you got multiple of these instances up, say for example, if you're sharing it with someone else, you can see them changing things in real time, so you can have multiple people working on a single document. And right here, it just recognized that my other instance is rare, so I'm highlighting this area on this instance. So let's pull these side by side. So let's do this little trick right here. And what we need to do is, you can see right here where I'm highlighting right there, and it shows it there. And if I'm highlighting all down here, it shows it. If I'm hovering over, I can see who is highlighting what. And when you have multiple people working on the same document, you can see the changes live. So like right here, you can see on the left screen, the changes are delayed by a little bit, but you can see that it is there. And this highly depends on a person's internet connectivity. So that's an important thing to note. So you can see people changing things in real time. You can also comment on things. So if I wanted to comment on that, then I can highlight that, comment on it, and mark it as resolved and stuff like that. This actually became highly useful in my previous degree. A lot of the teachers, what they wanted to do is they actually had us write our papers originally on Google Docs, and then send a link to the papers to the teachers. And what the teachers did is they went down it, they highlighted things, they left comments and stuff. Some teachers didn't like to do that, but the younger ones, and the ones that actually people actually wanted to go to their class, they actually tend to go for something like this. And it's kind of interesting when you can see when a older teacher that's been in the game for a while, they try to use these things like Microsoft Word, which is well more advanced than what people need in classes. I mean, it's not that complicated. It's not like you're dealing with Adobe Premiere, but at the same time, you're missing some of these crucial features that you could be getting out of here. And I've seen it where I sat down some people in front of Microsoft Word, and it'll take them a couple minutes to even close to 15 minutes to find the fonts, like how to redo the fonts, where here it's blankly right there, and what you need is right there. Obviously, if you're doing something a little bit more advanced, some legal documents and stuff, Microsoft Word is the way to go. But most of the time, I'm going to say about 90, close to 100% of the time, people, this is all they need. And that's the thing to note. So anyways, what I've seen in school is where teachers would have highlight stuff, mark this, the grammar needs to be fixed here, or do a little bit more research here, or if this is good or whatever. And you can go down the list and see what the teacher wrote. So as he knows, you can actually mark it as resolved or not, and go from there. And so let's go back to up here towards the top, so you can rename the actual document. So there you go. I can star it, I can click that and tell it where to do it, and move the item and stuff like that. I can go to file, and this is pretty important. You can go to that and start a new document, see your other documents that you have access to, and go from there. So in case you're looking for something like that, you can easily do that. And obviously you can look at your other things there and upload it. Let's go back to the actual document. again, go to File. You can go Share, New. Obviously, you know what that is. And I want to go down all the way down to Download As. And I've had, again, teachers who wanted me to use Google Drive. A lot of teachers didn't care one way or another. And then there's teachers who are hard set on using Microsoft Word. And if they find out, in fact, they're so hard set on Microsoft Word that if they say 2010 version and you're using 2016 or some other version, they will go ballistic. Even though you can do the exact same stuff, but here you can do Download As, and as simple as that. And there you go. In fact, let's pull that up real quick. And on my other screen, you can see that we got that. It's been a while since I opened up Microsoft Word, as you may tell. But you can see here that, it's good. It's as is. And, I can edit within here and all the other stuff. So it's... What I found is when the teachers... And you can find out pretty quickly when teachers say that they want 2010 version. Usually there's a feature that they're looking for on there, and that's the only way they know if you're using it or not. Beyond that, it's really, they're not going to find out. And for the most part, there's no point. I only ran into one teacher, and they're not even a teacher anymore, that done the version of Microsoft Word type of thing. So that's an important thing to note. Just want to note that out there, but you can download things as Microsoft Word and go down that list. So as far as that goes, and you can do page setup and all the other stuff like you could and pretty much everything else. So you can do margins and all the other stuff. Now, as far as the edit has, basic stuff, as you may know. And right here, if you want to do suggestions, so like, for example, if I'm a teacher, I'll write out, say, this isn't a word. And this is actually what the teachers would use and to show what needs to be fixed or not. They would highlight parts, so you can change the text color there, underline stuff, and stuff like that. And basically it allows the student to learn. And from my understanding, middle school and elementary schools are getting more into this because it allows the student, since more younger individuals have more access to computers, obviously with supervision, but they have more access to computers. They can work on some of these things at home, and it's easier for a teacher to, when they're at home, just to look at this and see, instead of waiting for 12 hours to go by and hope that I remember to tell whatever, little Timmy or Susie or whatever, that this letter should be capitalized versus that, I can just look at it and just fix it right there, or not fix it, but I can show it right there, or if they're working on it right there, I can help them instead of them having to be here at a school, or the teacher, in some locations the teacher goes out to the student's house, obviously with the parent being there, so the teacher can help the student get through school, which is necessary in some cases. So instead of that having to happen, the student, if something comes up, or if If the student wants to work on something and needs help, they can be home working on something while the teacher is looking at real time the student doing something. The student doesn't get a feeling of someone looking over their shoulder, and it's just good all around. So going back here into edit mode, I can see the changes. I can click on that and say, I don't think that needs to be changed. Yeah, that isn't a word. But what is a word? If and you can actually do that type of thing. So if you had a teacher saying something like that, this isn't a word, or this needs to be capitalized or something, you can have the student, or say a PM, project manager, listing something on there saying that this item needs to be done first, or I have questions about this item on the list, and the person can actually respond to it, and everybody who's correlated with it can see it. It's an important thing to note, and you can obviously edit and delete things as needed. So yeah, that's rejecting it is that simple, and you can go from there. So as far as that goes, let's go down to the other things. So I'm pretty sure you can figure out what's insert format tools, something I want to show you. So for example, if I wanted to say highlight ABC, I can do research, and what will happen is it'll pull up stuff online saying what is ABC. So if I am trying to research bikini, I probably misspelled that. Let's actually try something else, something actually legitimate. Let's try in marketing the Surface brand, because that's actually worthwhile. So if I don't know what a Surface Book is, and I'm taking a marketing class or something like that, what I could do is go ahead and do research on something, and I can see, oh, that's what a Surface Book is, and go from there. And then let's say if I don't understand what the word book means, I can ask for a definition, or ask for a definition off outline, and go from there. And it's pretty cool stuff that I can do on here. Voice typing is a new feature that's on here, and I personally haven't used it, but it's worthwhile. Take a look. I'll recommend taking a look at the preferences so you can actually see all that. But anyways, you can actually do add-ons into here, and this will actually allow you to do extra things within your documents. So it makes it a little bit more advanced, and you can actually set it at the top of Microsoft Word. Now, I'm not trying to knock Microsoft Word. Again, it's a very good platform to write on, but the problem is it's too advanced to some people. If I sat the average person who's used to Microsoft Office 2010 in front of 2016, and I've done this, they won't be able to find all the features. On here, it's pretty straightforward, and that's what I'm saying. It's a big difference. And on top of that, I get a new computer. I gotta make sure Microsoft Word is installed. I gotta make sure it's activated. I gotta go through all that hassle. Yeah, there's a 360, 365, whatever account, but not everybody has that. And even if they did, you're now diverting yourself right back into this group that you might as well be using Google. So it's a big thing to note that with that is I'm not trying to knock Microsoft Office products, but that is something to note. But anyways, let's go back to I think that's pretty much about it I wanted to show off in this one. let's go into here, but let's look into the details so we can see when changes have been made. We can actually look at the same thing on here, when changes have been made. But one thing I want to show is sharing. So in, again, my previous degree, this is very important. A lot of teachers, they require the student to upload their files to Google Drive, their personal or school Google Drive account. And what they'll do is they have to give the teacher a link. So you go to that, go to anyone with the link can view it, and press save, and then just copy and paste the link and give it to the person or the teacher, and they can see the folder, file, or so on. And for companies, this is the two features that are different. Now, with here, you can actually tell where the person can only comment or edit. Obviously, with these other things, you can't really say much. You can do view, comment, edit, but you can't say who can or cannot see it. So like right here where it's only myself type of thing, if I wanted to, I can add other people into this list through their Gmail email or their other email. And if it's through their normal email, the problem is you have less control. If they have a Gmail account, you got more control. You can remove them when they're not needed to look at the list anymore. So that's an important thing to note in itself, and you can tell where they can edit, comment, or whatever. But anyways, as far as that goes, let's take a look at the sheet, the slide. Take a look at forms, drawing, and I think that's about it I want to look at. So the sheet is, again, Excel. It's pretty straightforward. It's just like Excel. A lot of features are similar, as I said before. You can do templates and all the other stuff. So cool things into here. And this is actually a little bit newer, by the way. It wasn't this template stuff wasn't there 3-4 years ago. You know, with PowerPoint, here you go. In all this stuff, all this stuff that relates to Microsoft products, you can actually download as a Microsoft product. So it's important to note that. Forms, basically, this allows you to make your multiple choice forms or some forms in some fashion. That way you can get responses. Companies use this and others use this. I've used this a few times, and it basically allows you to get a better understanding on a product or service, how well that went about. There's quite a few useful times that you will see that about. I've seen it where companies have used it simply so they can get a gauge of if they're doing a good job or not. Then you got drawing. You know, it's pretty straightforward. And this one's a little bit newer, by the way. And taking a look at these two, click back, you can see obviously a template for that, and obviously the drawing, there's probably gonna be no actual template. But anyways, as far as that goes, if you got any questions or anything, then let me know, and I'll try to answer it as best as I can. But leave a like, subscribe, share, and let me know how I'm doing in this particular video. If you think I left out a few things or whatever it may be, and if you're interested into that Dropbox video or any other videos, also feel free to check out our Patreon to help this channel keep growing. See you next video. Have a great day.